Hello, Storyteller, Storytelling Ron. This is a Christian role-playing game channel thing. This is going to be my end of the year video, I think. But I want to talk about just like the past year and things I've been watching and looking at on YouTube to keep me abreast or whatever of what's been going on. I do, there's no other Christian RPG, I don't know, YouTuber or channel or anything where we're really talking, evangelizing about our faith in the game. And so I'm going to, try to do more of that, I guess. And then talk about the industry, the RPG industry from a Christian, hardcore Christian perspective. And again, for the Lord RPG, you guys can do a Christian game. And until January 2nd, I am allowing these things. These are free on my site, all three of them, because I want more Christians playing out their faith, evangelizing in the role-playing game. I'm gonna turn it back into a business after January 2nd, but I'm not a business person. I don't need to be. I can sell off into the sunset, but I'm just doing it that's what I should be doing. Anyway, so the news or about role-playing games. So obviously role-playing games are exploding, right, in the last year for sure, since the OGL thing debacle. And wasn't that the beginning of the year or something? So that debacle was from WotC was interesting. But it's like, they don't own anything anymore. There's, back in the day when Dungeons & Dragons was so important because there was so few other games out there, and they literally were telling us like a flagship how to do role-playing games because our minds, we did not have it in our minds, in our psyches at the time. It was not part of our culture really when we were growing up. Now, role-playing games is very much like we get it. Even people who don't play role-playing games get it pretty quickly, especially the younger generation who has played video games where you have stats and upgrades and, all that character stuff and the gear. And that easily translates, that part of it, the mechanics of it, and understanding the mechanics of it obviously translate now. So the cat's out of the bag. The Pandora's box is open. There's no secrets now as far as role-playing games and how to do them and how you and I can create our own and design them. So I don't, there's no need to be afraid or, but there's no need to be afraid or, if Dungeons & Dragons fails, what happens? It doesn't matter because we all can do whatever we want. And we can all grab the first edition of D&D if we wanted to and just play forever. I don't particularly care to anymore because the game system was obviously it was cool then, but now it's not such a great game system. I don't care for the the OSR. I say my game is OSR or OSR like, but I don't really care for the holding on to some of those rules based off of how it all started. Like I don't care for the levels, I don't care for high hit points, I don't care for the spell system. A lot of things I don't care for. And I'm a GM of 45 years. I really like the rules light now because I just don't want to read a bunch of stuff. And the reason I don't want to read a bunch of stuff I guess is because I never will use it. I want stuff that I'm going to use. And maybe it's because I'm so experienced now that I can fill in the gaps, and that could be. I maybe as a new GM, well, even as a new GM, you're not going to have, let me just, an example. Okay, so I don't mean to dog this guy. I know this guy is really, really loves what he does. So I don't mean to dog him, but you're not going to have this open like this as a GM, and it's going to be helpful to you, like to always have to go to find stuff in here. You're gonna, like there's just so much details on the spells and the items and all that it becomes very tedious. And me as a GM, I know. So I only like to take a couple notes and have it, ready. All the books are like that, and this one's not even that bad compared to like the Dungeon Crawl Classic. I got where's this one? The Conan one. I guess it's neat and all, but I'm a GM of 45 years and I love Conan, but I'm just reading through this and it just feels like filler to me. And it's all small print, and I'm like, I'm not gonna read all this. Why? I'd have to give up every other game or every other thing I'm doing to study this. And then I know as a GM, I'm not going to use this much stuff. I'm just not going to. I don't even know why I have it here. But last year I went and bought all those games for Christmas just because I had this emptiness in me, and I wanted, not the Jesus Christ emptiness, but the RPG emptiness, and I thought I could fill it with all these games. And then when I got them all and looked at them all, I barely touched them. I skimmed through them and they're all thick, like the way I thought things are supposed to be. But I just am not interested. So, and I'm pitching my game, but whatever. This is my game system, and it's all I need as a 45-year veteran GM. And if you look at my channel, I do everything. I do the artwork, the music. I set up everything, the sounds. I get sound effects if I use them. But as a GM, this is what I want and need. I can actually use this. And actually, I only use like 2 or 3 pages. That's all the rules I need. Let me get to that page. Here it is, combat. And I only really use the denouement because the combat rules are so easy. I don't need to really access it. So I just have this page open. It's like every fold out on, which it's only a couple, or is like a GM screen. Like it's like a GM screen. The game mechanics. There's the conditions. Done. There's the end of the GM game. Here, let me. I'll start about here with the gear, because sometimes you need to have the gear for your villains. And that's it. These are the rules that I would need to look at for the game, and the rest of it, is the just how to GM and how to set up how to prep. And then, of course, the fun way to do maps now. I draw out these pieces, and you put them down and make your little area, and there you go. And here's a dungeon, or cavern system, and using reusable map pieces, and that's it. And you cut those you cut those out as pieces of paper and put them on the table, or you can use it on the VTTs. And that's, for me as a 45-year veteran DM. That's all. I'm having a great time, and they're Christian. So this year I didn't buy any role-playing games. I think I got Mothership coming, and I did get one other game. Mothership and something else. And there was a Christian game, but it's 5e, and I kind of looked through it, and I just don't want to do 5e, and it wasn't evangelism, it was just adventuring. So it wasn't even like, to me, a Christian game, because it just kind of, did the motif of Christianity. It just kind of covered the pagan game system with a Christian motif, but you're not evangelizing. So yeah, anyway, I'm not supposed to be pitching. I'm supposed to be talking about other role-playing games. Okay, so let me go through one of the biggest things that has bothered me as a Christian. Not one of the biggest things, but a thing that bothers me, and it's annoying. And I'm going to mention and go through diversity and dragons and diversity. I like the guy. I forgot his diversity and dragons. Yes. So I'll go through him in a sec. But he gave me, or he did a video on this, and then I checked it out, and I was like, dang. So let me show you real quick. All right, this is going to be very negative and insulting or whatever, and this is my opinion of this person and what they've done, and they put themselves out there. So I have every right to do this. I'm just doing a little whatever disclaimer or whatever. This is my opinion of this video and of what this person is doing and what WotC's doing from a Christian perspective and from a non-woke perspective. Okay, so this guy, let me just show, and it'll be a little upsetting perhaps, but I'm going to say it anyway. So this guy right here, and I don't bother him. I'm not following him or anything. But very smarmy. I'm just going to say that outright. The reason I'm being that way and saying that demeaning thing about this guy is because, one, we have a right to do that. We have a right to insult other people and criticize them and expose them for kind of what his wickedness. And I'll explain it. So he goes through this video, and he did this article here. So he did a lot of work on this. And this is about how WotC is renaming, changing words in the role-playing game, right? They're stealth editing it, I guess, online or something. And he's talking about how wonderful this is and how this is good. And I think this is evil. This is wicked. Okay. So that's my opinion on this. He's telling us how to think. The smarmy guy and WotC and the woke are telling you how to think. Now, as a Christian, I'm telling you how to think through Christ. So there we go. One's good and one's evil. Well, you're gonna have to decide that for yourself. So for instance, I'll just run through a few of these. So it used to be where they confront savage giants, whatever the word. So they changed savage to brutal. They don't want you to use the word savage anymore because it connotates primitive or less, describing evil part of creatures isn't a lack of being urban dwellers. It's evil. Okay. So they don't want you to think that they're primitive, and they don't want you to use the word savage because it denotes third world country or something like that. They also don't want you to use civilized to describe something because then it denotes a primitive. They don't want you to think that way. They don't want you to think that way. They don't want you to use barbarian horde. They don't use the word barbarian because that denotes savage or whatever. And so they want you to use invading horde. See, they're getting you this mindset, this sort of gray, wear a gray smock, be a worker in the Marxist revolution. It's kind of like there's nothing historical about their mindset. They want to erase history, rewrite history, and have you wear a gray smock and be just a worker in their cog. There's no. They want to take out male and female romance. They want to take out romance. They want to take out chivalry. They want to take out history. They want to take out all that stuff. And, they don't want civilized in here. They want another land. They don't want you to judge or have a sense of awareness of something, like that it's savage, that it's primitive, that it's not good. They want you to they want an equal footing for orcs, right? They don't want brutal orcs or whatever, giants. They don't want you to think that they're primitive and inferior and that they should be erased. They want you to think of them as equals, but just misunderstood or something. I don't know. Anyway, like madness. They want to take out madness so that you don't think of an insane wizard. They don't want you to say that. The villainous wizard. I could go into more and more in depth in this and how just pathetic it is. And the whole gender thing, they're changing genders. They're changing another one here that really annoyed me. Here's the gender thing. They don't want you to have, they want to erase that. Is the fat. They don't want you to have fat. They don't want to talk about fat, gross fat creatures or whatever. They want to take out Asian because of the whole whatever. And they want to take out phylactery because it's Jewish or whatever. Slaves. They want you to take out slaves and replace it with servants. That's ridiculous because they're slaves. They're not servants. Anyone under paganism is a slave. Really, the pagans love slavery. Communist slavery. If you rely on the government for your healthcare, your education, your $2,000 a month guaranteed wage, Canada, I think they're doing that. You're a slave. You are a slave because you don't have a choice. You're stuck. If you cannot say something, if you cannot speak out freely, give your opinions on things, then you're a slave to whatever is forcing you to comply. So this is ridiculous. And I'm glad that I don't need D&D. I'm glad I don't need this anymore. So you need to free yourself from D&D. They're stealth editing this right now, or already have. Imagine that you're playing a game where they've got, Harvard graduates or diversity people going in and rechanging the words for you. So you don't think this way or that way. You're going to think the way they want you to think. You need to have a game where you're playing a game by someone who loves the game and loves doing really dark stuff and really good stuff, and loves using the words that make it more intense. They're trying to homogenize this thing into something just homogen, whatever. Get out of it. Get out of D&D. Come on. This right here is like, get out. All right, let's move on to some more other news. I want to start with Roll for Combat, actually. I watched their channel Now, good. There's no Christian RPGs out there. There's no Christian news or channels or anything about Christian stuff. And, so I do like to hear about role-playing game news, even though I don't want to play these games anymore. But, and I'm getting weirder and weirder in like where I get to find my news, because there really isn't any place to find what I want to know, which is Christian role-playing games. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get more of that happening in the new year. This channel, Roll for Combat, I just like it because I walk the dog quite a bit, try to get more exercise, try to get out there, and I got to listen to something, and I want to avoid the news a lot. Now I'm getting tired of the news. It's all end times, I guess. What I like about Roll for Combat though is they do a really good job of being kind of neutral, and obviously they don't mention Christianity or anything like that. And the woke stuff, they seem to be critical of it. Not overly though. I think they do a good job of just not mentioning much of that. They just talk about the bad choices that are being made, but they don't really go into actually why they're making those bad choices. They don't really go in. I mean, based on just my addled brain memory of Roll for Combat guys, they talk about the bad choices they're making, but they don't talk about why they made those bad choices. They kind of stay clear of that, which is, fine, whatever. So I kind of like looking at their videos in the sense of like, the Kyle Brinks dude apology, and they had Baron DeRuff on here. He's amusing. And I like these guys. I just like they're deep into the woods with this stuff, so I appreciate their commitment to that. It's from a, not being too Christian on it, judgmental. So, and the Pinkertons, the WotC did that. Hasbro is going broke. They're obviously redoing stuff. And I think it was in here, one of these videos where he mentions how they don't care if they lose a ton of subscribers, because they're going to keep the ones based on the digital. They're going digital so they can get more profit out of it, right? They don't have to publish books, which doesn't have a good profit margin. They don't have to do all that. If they can get the digital and get you doing all the little price things, what's that called? The little, where you buy little things all the time on there, then they'll just make more profit that way. I just, for me, I'm not excited at all about D&D. I'm not excited about any of these games anymore, because they're just silly, like this big old Beholder thing is just silly to me. All the fantasy D&D, the fantasy dragon, like being all epic and these big epic paintings of these gigantic fantasy dragons, is just silly to me. It just looks silly. I'd rather see a ferocious bear. That freaks me out. and so in my games, I use prehistoric creatures. I use dinosaurs, because we believe that, Christians, we do believe dinosaurs were around back in the ancient times. Rare and getting more rare because reptiles cannot live amongst people. We had to eradicate them pretty early on, because a T-Rex cannot live in the cold mountains like a wolf or bear, or in the cold regions. A T-Rex has to live in the warm, comfortable regions, and we humans took them out pretty quickly because we wanted those warm regions, comfortable warm regions. So any kind of big giant reptile we took out. So anyway, where am I going with this? I'm going with it. Okay, so Baldur's Gate, that was interesting how it was pretty successful. Not that I never played it, so I'm not into the video games anymore. I play a couple of video games here and there, once in a while, but I certainly don't last in them. The one I'm playing the most right now is Starship Troopers Extermination, because I like it because it's only like a 30-minute game, and then I get in, get a little adrenaline going, and then get out. And it's co-op. I like co-op. I don't like player versus player anymore. When I was younger, I played that quite a bit and was pretty good at it. But now that I'm older, I just don't have that same desire for my heartbeat going up that high. Stressing out. All right, MCDM RPG. So what is my views on the MCDM RPG? Based on just what I've learned, I don't know. They're really successful. 3 million? And Matt Kelville makes really great videos. He's got a great voice. He's got a great knowledge of the RPG world and all that. Obviously I'm going to go to critique mode here. I've seen a couple of his DMing, but this was after the fact of him becoming successful on YouTube and getting making money and then having people adore him. I've seen him DM that way a little bit, but I wasn't that interested in it. But I've never there's no video of him or anything, not that there would be necessarily, but I don't know how much of a success he was before that, because it didn't sound like he had much of it. I don't know. I kind of remember just him when he started making his YouTube videos. He did it because he didn't have anything going on or barely anything going on. So I don't know. But hey, he's doing well now. I guess he knows how to make videos and make a game. The game sounds to me, not interesting, obviously, for me as a Christian. Tactical, heroic, cinematic fantasy. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, this is exactly the opposite direction that I want to go. I want Christian history, medieval history. I want us to remember our past and how we are free now, why we are free as a civilization in the West. Why did the white colonizer become so successful? Is because of Christianity. Christianity survived in the West under white people. It did not survive in Africa, where it got eradicated by Islam, and it did not survive in the Middle East, where it got eradicated by Islam. So that is why the white colonizer became the most epic, powerful force for freedom in the world, with those galleon ships. I mean, if you look at a world map in the 15th, 16th, 17th century, slavery and oppression in the Middle East and Africa, all inbred torture and falling apart. But it was that Christian area in Europe that spread out with ships and travel and colonizing and spreading of the word of the gospel. That was what changed the world. It definitely was not Africa or Arabia or China, right? China never spread out. They all just Asia. None of that happened. And in Russia, it didn't happen because they never really got Christianity fully kind of embraced there. It was kind of a minority or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just going off because it's the end of the year. All right. So Roll for Combat, interesting stuff. I enjoy that they're kind of in-depth and somewhat pretty decently neutral, but critical in that neutral way. I'm just kind of looking here to see if anything else I want to talk about that is important or relevant. The MCDM, yeah. Again, I don't really care for that. And what's funny is that this is going to take them a year or two even to finish it. It's like, but I guess they're playtesting now. The whole bankruptcy thing about WotC or Hasbro doesn't really. They're going to keep going, with whatever they're doing. I don't see them changing like Hasbro or WotC or anything. It's going to get ridiculously worse, and the whole group think, mind think, word think is going to keep going. So the future's looking bright for me, I guess. Hopefully, in the new year, I will find some other Christian RPGers, content makers, and we can cross promote with each other. Because I know there's a couple out there. I just don't know I don't see their presence on YouTube, so I don't know. But I know these guys really kind of cross from each other. Okay, so let me go to Diversity and Dragons. He's been really cool as far as information, conservative. He's Christian. He doesn't push Christianity or anything. He doesn't preach that, but he certainly brings it up in the discussions. What have I seen lately? Okay, this was pretty funny. The Critical Role came out with Candelabra, and then he found in Destructo Boy. In Destructo Boy, there, some liberal guy was criticizing Candelabra, but scared to at the same time because of the Critical Role fanatics. And that the game was actually preaching kind of a, don't be offensive, be woke. So that was amusing. I don't know. I guess that's kind of all I have to say about that, I guess. I don't really have an opinion on it. Not going to play it, obviously. Matt Colville is anti-American. Yeah. Pro-intimidation RPG creator. Pro-intimidation. I think their fans like to intimidate anyone that criticizes Matt Colville, I guess. Whatever. I don't know. Goodman Games bends the knee. Yeah, they bend in which Dungeon Crawl Classics, which I don't really, I don't have any of their games. I have to look. I don't even have one. I was close to getting it. I was close to getting Dungeon Crawl Classics back in the day, but I just didn't. And I didn't like the whole dice thing they have. They have you got to get a D30, a D24, or D7, whatever. I was like, I don't want to get more dice and weird dice and they have their books are so thick, and I feel like Hyperborea is close enough, being a Gonzo type game system that I didn't need the Goodman Games version of it. If I were going to use it as a game system, but I had I'm doing my own Gonzo game system, and you can be a Christian in it. Yeah. And today I'm pretty excited. I'm going to be doing a Christians in Space. They're going to be doing a dungeon crawl. So I just did a video on that. If you want to watch that, the one before this one. So I don't need Goodman Games. I don't need any of these others. WotC. The Planescapes. This video is pretty funny. Cringy, lazy, cash grab. That one was pretty good. And I think I watch most of these or all of these, and I usually watch them to the end. So when it does this, I've probably skimmed back or forth or something. His thing going on with Ginny D, that was pretty good. I like that one. How he did that. He exposed her for her, anti-woke or her woke stuff and her anti-right-wing Republican, whatever. They all hate us. Who else hates us? There's one here he put on here. I think he was on here. Steve Jackson has got a bunch of liberals in his games, whatever, which, fine. I never was into Steve Jackson games, even back in the day. Another one here. Zweihander doesn't like us. They don't like the right or Christians. So just so you know. And I was actually thinking about getting this Zweihander. I was kind of curious. Sort of a Warhammer Fantasy one or whatever. Another one, Delta Green. I was actually going to get Delta Green. I was very curious because of Glass Cannon Network played Delta Green stuff. So that was kind of interesting. But hey, he hates Christians. Okay, cool. I don't need to buy that, and I don't really care to anyway now. Castles and Crusades, I almost was going to buy because he uses it, and they're supposedly not woke, and they just want to play games. But I just don't need it. I don't. It is interesting. It looks interesting. I was actually this Christmas, like a few days ago, thinking I should get that one, just to have this one and see what they're all about. But I just don't need that kind of game system anymore. I don't need it. I don't need to. I got For the Little RPG, The Dark Ages, and I'm going to be doing some more settings with darker, cooler, even maybe fantastical. But I love my system so much now. It's so easy to use as a GM of 45 years. And it's got some cool mechanics that make it so that they can delve more into other things that I'm just going to stick with it. It's really good. Dragonbane, Free League. I got their Aliens series. I got all their books. Starter set, Colonial Marines. I got them all, but I kind of got into them for a little while there. I remember last Christmas, man, I was just looking for something to give me like the oomph of RPGs, and that kind of did it for a little while until I started getting into my own system. But and they're pretty neutral, so I didn't sense anything coming out of them. So Free League supposedly is okay, although he said they do a lot of safety woke things in their game rules to for safety stuff. So they're kind of iffy, the Free League. So I don't know. Dragonbane. Oh, he's doing Dragonbane. Oh. So I don't know, everything he's doing here, and I like his live stuff. I've been kind of jumping in and out of those or watching them afterwards. Those have been pretty good. I was thinking about doing a live channel too. I don't have that many people who are going to watch or anything, but I don't know if I could just be consistently over there Wednesday night. I think I want to do another actual play on Wednesday nights. So we'll see how that goes. Let me go to my channel. 1.2 subscribers. It's 650 videos. Now, I'm definitely painting myself in a corner or niching myself severely with being a Christian. I don't have the ability to cross promote with anyone, as a YouTuber, and I accept that. I also don't edit, I just babble on and slapdash it together. I just don't want to edit. I don't want to go into that, I'm doing so many different things, and I really should do like better at editing. That way I could maybe grow my channel a little bit better, because then the videos won't be so slapdash and babbling like I am. But I don't want to do it. I just mentally don't want to do it. And it's almost like I just want you, I kind of feel like I'm doing these videos this way as well to keep away from those that are not. I really want like hardcore Christian RP people who really want to, be hardcore about it all. Or maybe I'm just lazy. I don't know. But this is me doing it. I already did an end of year Babylon. I should not do this one. I don't know what other news I want to talk about the other RPGs. I'm just not that interested in it, even though I listen to the others that do it. There's some other YouTubers I watch. Tanker's Tavern guy. I kind of know someone who knows him or whatever. Sometimes I watch RPG Elite, but he's getting a little. He's not really. He says he's neutral, but he's not. Or I don't know. I can't really tell. I know he's Christian, so I hope he really, really picks a side. Pick a side. Which you should be speaking the Christian side. Who else? There's others. There's a few others that I watch and enjoy, and not religiously, but I try to get little bits of them. I think that the Diversity in Dragons one is pretty good, and the Roll for Combat, just because it's very, very neutral, but the in-depthness of it is kind of fun to, and they're very critical of all the powers that be. So that's that. But again, they don't say why. They don't bring that up, which is fine. Anyway, I'm trying to grow this. This is, look at that. We're on episode 16, the first RPG Christmas. That was great. Also, the next one's gonna be episode 17. Okay, I'll remember that. That's today. I'm just so happy. Oh, we got a new guy there. Luis joined us. See, I'm just slowly growing this as much as I can. And Nick GM'd a game, and it was awesome. And he put together all of this from my artwork, from my tools that I want other GMs to have. And he did his own thing, and he created his own adventure, and it was great. And again, I wish we wouldn't have had to rush through it, and it was kind of a, hurry up, and we missed it. We had to reschedule it, blah, blah, blah. But man, that was just so much fun. And we got to evangelize, or, try to evangelize terribly. So that was just a lot of fun. So I'm gonna just keep going, and I'm enjoying this. There's my video on that one. I'm doing a couple of little fun things here. I've one successful video I guess I had was this D&D 5e erases women, and I got 2,000 views. But I'm gonna show you, just to show you my humility here. Only 56? No, I got way more than 56 downvotes. That's really strange. I thought it was like 100. It's really weird. Let me see. I'm going to pause this real quick and reconfirm this. Hold on a sec. Okay. Am I recording? That's interesting. So here it says 56. And this I'm using the whatever that tool is to allow me to see the downvotes, on YouTube videos. But that's not the number. The downvotes is 141 or whatever. Just whatever. It's there. 141. So it's not really whatever. But my point is we got some work to do. And I did this comments one, and that was awesome. There's a woman who made a comment that totally confirmed exactly what I was saying. And that's kind of like a new mission for me, and bringing up men and women, because women are being erased from the games. I just watched Diversity in Dragons on the live one. He did a kind of a run through of Shadow Dark, or like a page thing, and I watched some of that. And the women in it, the drawings of the women were all doing man things. They all had broad shoulders. They wore their armor, of course, feminized with boobs and showing their navel. But they had the sword, and they're going to do a man thing. Women. So women don't matter anymore in role-playing games. That's their equality. They're erasing women. What do you, as a woman, do right now in your real life? Now you're saying, oh, why are we comparing that? We want to be heroes. So you want to erase women. The hero to you is erasing the women. Women in history have done incredible things, but they've done it as a woman, not running around with a sword or a battle axe. You know, Joan of Arc did not swing her sword. She inspired the men. She supported the men. She gave the men hope. She led the men. They fought, not her. And they did everything they could to protect her. We're erasing women. And I was looking at it was on the other video there, erases, D&D 5e erases women. But there was a woman in the medieval, famous woman of medieval history. And I looked at them all and it was like, these are either nuns or patron ladies, I mean, basically, you know? And I know there are other women too in history that have done things, but they did not wield a battle axe. They did not run around in armor. They did it as a woman. And what are the strengths of a woman? Mothering. Why don't we have a hero woman mothering, you know? Why don't we have a heroic woman cleaning? That's right, and cooking, because men needed cleaning and cooking to, you know, to give them a morale boost. We see this in history. The women are morale boosters, like for the men who do all the dirty work. And this woman who saw my video played that way, like a woman would, supporting the men, and the men changed and became gentlemen and excited, and she became excited too because it filled her psyche with who she really is as a woman. Anyway, I'm beating a dead horse here or whatever because it's already in these videos. But I'm going to keep doing stuff like that. I'm also going to keep doing the witches thing where I reveal witch stuff. I have a couple of videos here on witches. I'm going to, you know, I've heard this from other YouTubers as well, but D&D 5e is like, whenever they have D&D 5e in their videos, it helps give them more views. You know, it's got 2,000 views. So I'll probably have to keep doing that as well. I mean, once in a while, I don't know. But definitely most of my other videos, especially ones where it's just about Christianity, I only get like 15 views here. You know, Clouds Without Water. This was actually about, I think, gay people coming into the church or into the, I can't remember. I have to go through it again. But yeah, I mean, and you know, obviously I'm again, a niche of a niche. When you do Christian RPG, you don't find very much, for sure. And so that's really hard for me. You know, and I do some religion and politics, especially when, you know, when that October 6th happened in Israel. Definitely had to do that. The whole, you know, that was, there's more of that going on. Because I did a Kickstarter and then failed, so I have to, you know, work on that. I don't, you know, the Kickstarter for me is fine. Whether I fail or not, I got a few people, at least it's like free marketing. And I'll keep doing it, I guess. But right now I'm just working on the website and building that up and doing the YouTube channel. And I'm looking for ways to, you know, get this in. I've got to figure out how to get it into churches, like youth pastors and youth groups. That's kind of where I think I need to go with this. I just, you know, obviously YouTube's probably not the way to go, but I don't know the Christian culture. I don't know where there's a secret, you know, place where I could spread that. And I did so another big thing I did last year was I went to the NRB, National Religious Broadcasters Convention. I spent over $10,000 on that. And I turned it into a vacation for the wife, which wasn't really, kind of was a disaster there. Orlando at that time was not great. It rained every day, and the place was actually more family than adult. The hotel had all these screaming kids and stuff, which, you know, we're family positive. But it wasn't a wife and I could relax and hang out thing. So we did a few things. I mean, she's not angry with me. She knows what I'm doing. But I really thought that the Christians would embrace this as a show. You know, I put 10 grandish into it. And you know, for whatever but nope, none of them did. They passed on it. So whatever. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. PureFlix passed on it, and Explorer, whatever, some other place passed on it. They all passed on it. All the Christian TV and streaming services passed on it. I went to everywhere. This, you know, me doing this, I've come to a point now, even on this YouTube channel, where I'm not afraid to just say it, you know, say what I believe and how I believe it. And if people, including other Christian men, want to think I'm stupid, I don't care. I'm gonna, or whatever, think I'm just a whatever clown, or I don't know what they think, but and even when I did this up here, you can see some of the actors in the shows I did. I had to like expose myself. I had to ask and get lots of no's and lots of weird looks and lots of sort of you're a weirdo kind of thing from people. And I don't care. I didn't care. I need to, I don't know if there's a ministry or, I mean, it is a ministry, but I needed to do it. And I got it. I made more of a headache for myself than I even needed in my life. And I spent money that I didn't need to spend on this. I could just play D&D or play these role-playing games and have fun, but I can't when they're, it's becoming a grooming thing. It's becoming a sexualized thing. It's becoming you have to believe in our sin. You have to confirm our sin. You have to affirm our sin. You have to change. You have to give up Jesus Christ and your faith. Can't do it. I'm not going to do it anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and, that's a terrible word, expose, because it sounds like nudity. I have to expose myself. So it's not the word. Put myself out there, exposed, and get a lot of, even from Christians, get a lot of almost unanimously no's, right? So maybe I shouldn't be doing this at all. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it because I love it. It's so enjoyable. And another weird thing too that happened to me this year, and this is not a criticism of other Christians, but because it's me, obviously, but it is weird, and it's just so weird. I got so many people who reached out to me or encouraged me, prayed for me, and even offering to help. None of them came through. None of it happened. And I'm trying to it must be me. It must be my personality, probably my disorganization and my immaturity and all this. I do not have a business acumen at all. I guess as far as from a business standpoint, I'm more of a follower than a leader. I'm not a CEO or whatever. But I hadn't gotten so many people offering to help me. And when I tried to then figure out what help they were going to offer or what it was, it just all kind of ended. I even had a guy wanting to partner with me and be the business side of it. I was like, yes, please. What do we do next? And, that fell through. And I'm not, I don't have anything against the guy or anything, but it just suddenly, and it was weird how quickly it fell through, like as we were building up over a month or two. And I had guys call me saying they want to help me, and they knew people here and knew people there, and they knew everybody, and and giving me famous names of Christians and conservatives and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is okay. I think this is a sign, and I kept going. And the whole thing with the NRB was because of someone telling me about it, and that I got to go. And this is, it's just so it's kind of weird to me how after all that's said and done, I'm here all alone, doing it still, which is, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe that's the sign, because that's definitely a huge thing in Christian ministries. Like, if you're alone, if you're struggling and it's not happening, maybe that's not what God wants you to do. That could be. I'm enjoying it immensely though, because of evangelism. I've never done evangelism. And I'm praying a little better now, corporally with others, because of this game, because I have to, as a GM, play the Christian NPCs and the pagan NPCs. But what I do know, what is really nice is that I have, because of all the failures of it, I have been able to focus and get humbler and get smaller and just focus on the game, make it better, focus on the stories and make them better, focus on learning some other good things to do. So I'm so happy still, even with all of what I just said. I'm still just feeling blessed and comfortable and humble and wanting to keep doing this. And I'm even more focused now on the actual content than I think too, if I would have sold the show, I would have focused more on the show and the craziness of that and the stress of that than I would have on the actual product, the actual stories and stuff. So there's that viewpoint of it all, because I think if I would have gotten a show and the money and all that, I would have been a little crazier. Maybe I couldn't handle it. Maybe God knows I couldn't handle it. I don't know. Obviously I'm looking for the bright side of it all, but the biggest bright side to me is I'm able to focus on this game a lot more in the channel and doing this, but I'm able to work on it all the time now, and specifically on the content of it and getting it better and better. But again, I'm just enjoying this. So I now have the rest of the day to walk the dog and prep for my Christians in Space, or prep more of the galaxy. I think I want to do some drawing, some doodling. Yeah, that's kind of a crazy little comfortable life I have right now. And I enjoy it. Okay, so that's my end of the year video here. I really need, if any of you know of any, and I've even asked this on my Discord, no responses. If any of you know of any other Christian RPGs out there that are really focused on evangelism or outward approach to it all on YouTube, let me know, because I don't know of any. And I've been searching. Don't know of any. But anyway, all right. We are all Christians here, and we are all role playing, and we are going to bring our faith into the game. And you all are going to gather around and play this game or whatever game, but you're going to bring your faith into it. You're going to tell everyone, those players, bring your faith out. Play as a faithful Christian in these games. You may have to. That's another thing. You're going to have to start selecting your players, right? They're on their faith. And if they don't have a Christian faith, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for Christ? You got to figure that out. I know that's hard and rough. And I had to give up the comforts of my D&D and options to play other role-playing games. And I did. Was it rough? Not really, actually. At least I'm not looking at it back at it now. But I guess could be rough for some of you, especially if you are a Christian, you want to bring your faith in the game, and then you've got friends who you play with and you played with them for years and they're not Christian. But here's the thing. They're playing the game with paganism. Why is that? And then, so all the games are played as pagans, right? I think I said in the other video, in this video, but pagans, I'm going to say it again. The Bible, God already described to us what pagans are, what atheists are, Islam, all these other religions, Hinduism, what they all are. He already explained it from the beginning, really quick on to let us know. When the serpent told Eve, you don't have to believe God, you can be your own God. God didn't really say that. Be your own God. Every religion out there is about works, about what they do to save themselves. They're pillars of sacraments. They're an atheist is I'm a good person, right? Whatever they do will save them. There's no heaven, there's no hell. I'm just going to, oblivion. Oblivion sounds like a really nice heaven, actually, because if you're gone, then there's no more suffering for you or pain or whatever. So that's their heaven, oblivion. Not great, whatever. They think they're going to get away with whatever they did in life because they believe in their oblivion. They're going to get away with whatever they've done, whatever, but they're a pagan. They can be their own God. They can make up their own heaven and hell, or no heaven and no judgment. And they get to decide. So every pagan out there, that's what they are. And the only one that are not pagan are Christians that believe in Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior, and God is sovereign and has chosen who's going to be saved and who isn't. You can't be saved by your own works. You're saved through the grace of God. God has chosen you to be saved. That's Christianity. FYI. Okay. And no other religion has that. None. Zilch. And when you bring it up to them, they find that offensive and weird. And it's the one only religion where it takes away agency from you. And no one likes that. Everyone wants their own agency. Okay, so if you are a Christian and you want to play some cool Christian fun games with agency, where you can evangelize, contact me, join our Discord, set up a game. These games are available right now as a Christmas gift for you for free until January 2nd. But I will make them I think I'm gonna make them $5 PDFs at this point, because I'm going to keep adding more of them. Bunch of $5 PDFs on there, and I'm going to do some print ones too, because I love print. Those will probably be like $20 though. But you get the PDF and this, and then I got to ship it. It includes shipping, because I'm gonna probably something like that. Anyway, okay, so that's my another end of year Babylon part 2. I'll probably have to write that, because that's kind of what I'm doing. End of year Babylon part 2. All right, Christian RPGs and in the game of life, roll the holy dice.